Good morning. I'm Professor Neil Fowler, the Dean of Students here, and it's my pleasure to warmly welcome you to this morning's University of Salford graduation ceremony. Before we begin the formal parts of the ceremony, I would just like to ask you if you show your appreciation and thanks for our amazing student performers who have kept you entertained whilst you're waiting for the beginning of the ceremony. They perform at each one of these graduations throughout the week, and they are amazing. Thank you. One final piece of housekeeping before we begin. Graduands, your relationship with the university does not end when you graduate. In fact, it's only just beginning. You are now a member of a global alumni community of over 160,000 graduates, and we would love to keep in touch with you to ensure that you're kept up to date on the latest benefits and services available to you as a member of our alumni network. You can provide your contact details on the form on your seat. All you need to do is fill it in and leave it under your seat at the end of the ceremony, where we will come along and collect it. So if you have a brief moment during the course of the ceremony, just fill it in and we will collect it later. For the enjoyment of all of our guests and graduands, can I please ask you to remain seated in the auditorium until the end of the ceremony? And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I ask if you would kindly ensure that your mobile phones are switched off for the duration of the proceedings, and then we can begin. For those of you who are able, please stand for the entrance of the academic procession.
I can now declare this ceremony open to confer degrees from the University of Salford. Please be seated.
Graduands, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Alan Walker, Dean of the School of Arts and Media.
Thank you. I'm delighted to welcome you this morning to celebrate the success of our graduands, and I want to say a few words to provide context. The School of Arts and Media continues to go from strength to strength and has had another wonderful year. In the Guardian League tables and the Good University Guide, we have 2 programme groups in the top quartile of UK programmes, including one of our largest programmes, BA Television and Radio, which continues year-on-year success. Next year, the school is supporting more staff and students to enter competitions and follow the example of some of programmes such as Fashion Design, which is ranked 4th in the UK's top fashion programmes, and who this year won the prestigious International Levi's Prize for the 2nd time, had all 3 finalists in the Top Shop Award, and with partners in China took top prizes in the Ningbo and Beijing Fashion Weeks. In terms of our staff, Dr. Brian Hall has been awarded the Whitfield Prize for History by the Royal Historical Society. Both he and Dr. Dan Lomas were shortlisted for their first book on a subject of British or Irish history. This is widely considered the most important prize for early career historians in the UK. This news is significant for 2 reasons. Over the past 20 years, the majority of the awards have gone to early modern historians, and both Dan and Brian's research is on 20th century history. And as far as we're aware, we have never had anyone shortlisted from Salford before. So to have 2 finalists and the winner is a considerable achievement. On the international stage, the school has world-class partnerships, especially in China. While in Europe, our Design Against Crime team have recently been awarded the prestigious Horizon 2020 funding as consortium leaders on the €3.1 million Cutting Crime Impact project. This includes 6 law enforcement agencies across Europe, including Germany, Netherlands, Estonia, Portugal, Spain, and UK. Graduands, your contribution to our success is huge, but it has actually only just begun. We look forward to following you in the years to come as we grow the record of excellence for arts and media. Whilst it has been an exciting year for our school, it has also been a year of significant achievement for our university as a whole. I'm proud to introduce our presiding officer this morning for this ceremony, our very special Chancellor, Professor Jackie Kay.
Thank you. Deputy Lord Lieutenant, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you to today's graduation ceremony. Hello. Welcome. You have to try that in a Nigerian accent. Welcome. This year's graduation ceremonies are extra special because it's during this academic year that we celebrated our golden year as a university, with 50 years of achievements and learning, memories and friendships made, and countless great careers started here. And it was in this 50th year that I was particularly pleased to see the university welcome its biggest intake ever of undergraduate students, with over 5,500 new students joining us on campus last autumn, starting their journey towards where you're seated, ready to graduate. And so today it is my pleasure to welcome you, graduates of the School of Arts and Media and Salford Language Centre, who will receive your awards today. And I'd also like to warmly welcome your family and friends. It's a privilege for us all to be able to share in your success in having accomplished so much during your time here at Salford. I'm also absolutely delighted to welcome Tony Walsh and Dave Moutry and their families as they each receive an honorary degree. Tony Walsh is a poet, performer, writer, educator and a former student of this university. Since writing poetry from the tender age of 5, he's become one of the UK's leading performance poets. He's most recently renowned for delivering what was described as a perfect symbol of pride, passion and defiance of Manchester's people in the aftermath of last year's bomb attack. Tony's work is very much at the cultural heart of his home city, and he continues to encourage the literary talent and creativity of the next generation. Dave Moutry is Director and Chief Executive of HOME, Manchester Centre for International Contemporary Art, Theatre and Film, which opened in 2015. Having conceived and led the project to build this 7,500 square metre social and cultural hub, Dave has provided new opportunities for artists, audiences and young people to engage with art in a wholly new, inspiring and totally innovative way. Dave Moutry has championed the importance of arts and culture in the UK and is widely seen as a pivotal figure in the art scene, not just across Manchester and the North West, but across the UK and beyond. He is a visionary with a unique talent, and he never loses sight of his vision to open the world of theatre and art to everybody. I hope that you, Tony Walsh, and you, Dave Moutry, enjoy this proud and special day graduating alongside our graduating students and receiving your honorary degree. Graduates, your time at this university is a pivotal moment in your life. It's a time when you shape your views in the world, when you learn more about yourself, when you develop your skills and knowledge. It's when you create memories and establish friendships that will hopefully stay with you for life. It's a time when you develop intellectually, personally, emotionally and socially. Perhaps like many of you, I was the first in my family to go to university. I was from an ordinary working class family who were over the moon to support me going to university. I remember when I was first at university, despite getting A's for everything, I kept thinking that I was a fraud. Somebody was going to find me out, and it was just a matter of time before I was kicked out, because that's the feeling that you get when you're in academic institutions for quite a while. And so if you had told me that one day I would be stood here as Chancellor of the University of Salford and also as the National Poet of Scotland, the Macker, I would, yay! Thank you. Thank you. I would have told you were having a laugh. I was adopted, and when I was made Macker, or the National Poet of Scotland, a couple of years ago, my mum said to me, "Who would have ever thought that wee baby we brought home in a basket would one day grow up to be Macker?" Which kind of paradoxically reminded me of a 70s cartoon where a nurse says a midwife is carrying a baby, and the wee caption above it says, "It's a lesbian." I don't know why it reminded me of that, but it just did. Brain associations are a wonderful thing. You can analyse me later. Travelling around Scotland, people keep stopping to ask me if I'm the Macker. On the ferry the other day from Benbecula to Harris, the man helping me with my luggage said, "Am I right in thinking that you're Macker?" I said, "Aye, I'm your Macker." Made me feel like I should have some sort of special powers. My birth mother came from the Highlands in Scotland, near Nairn, and my birth father came from Nigeria, the east of Nigeria. And I always felt very special being adopted. My mum used to say to me when I was a girl, "We picked you. Other people had to take what they got." Which made me feel very special. I looked at people quizzically after that, with the same noses and the same eyes. And I found my birth father really quite easily. I put his name into Google, and up popped Pop. And the reason that Pop popped so quickly is because he's a leading ethnobotanist. He's a world tree specialist. So that seemed really bizarre that there was me tracing my family tree. It's the kind of thing that if you put in a novel, nobody would believe you. So many ways of feeling special. Being granted a degree feels like a special thing. One of those shimmering, luminous moments in life that you'll forever treasure. As the African-American writer Zora Neale Hurston said, the present was an egg laid by the past that had the future inside its shell. Today is one of those memorable days. In these troubled and unsettling times, in this politically turbulent, tragic and terror-filled year, having faith and hope in a future seems ever more and more challenging. And yet, when the terrible thing happens, when the fires erupt and the bombs go off, what we're often most touched by is the knowledge that people communally must make a difference. We could call it a collective kindness. It's even more important that we draw not just upon our specialisms and our expertise, but on our empathy and our kindness, our fantastic human ability to be able to step outside of our own shoes and imagine the lives of others. To be creative in this world of ours is what you most need. A writer's best tool is actually empathy. As the writer James Baldwin brilliantly remarked, you think that your pain and heartbreak are unprecedented in the history of the world, but then you read. It was books that taught me that the things that tormented me most were the very things that connected me with all the people who were alive, who had ever been alive. You've all demonstrated your abilities, your skills, and your drive by arriving here today to receive your awards. Life is never simple or straightforward. It's become increasingly difficult for graduates to plan and realise an entire career. But what you can do is grab the opportunities you're given and make the very most of them. You'll be faced with decisions and challenges as you step forward from today onto this new road. I hope that your time at Salford has equipped you with some of the skills that you'll need taking this new path, and we'll always be here to welcome you back with open Salford arms. Sounds like the name of a pub. Well, we might have a drink too. You just, hope you have a drink at the end of today, the ones of you that do drink. But more than that, I hope you have exciting and challenging experiences and make new friends, and that you see and learn more of this world that we live in. I hope too that your time at this university has equipped you with a special way of seeing, in a way that way of seeing that you learn at university never actually leaves you. It is your companion for the rest of your life. As individual students, you have had many successes, and also we as a university have, by climbing 10 places in the Times and the Sunday Times Good University Guide rankings. It's also great news that, as in our golden years of university, it is a fact that our green achievements have been recognised with a prestigious Eco Campus Award. There have been some great individual achievements for our students this year, with a nomination from the British Film Institute, one to watch list for 2018. 3 of the university's MA nursing students were awarded the Royal College of Nursing's Margaret Parkinson Scholarship, and 2 of our law students were crowned winners of the National Mooting Competition. One of the students studying television and radio at the Media UK campus has also won the Leicester Mercury Comedian of the Year Award. A big clap for all of those. But today is about you, students from the School of Arts and Media and Salford Language Centre, who are graduating any minute now, when I stop talking. One of my books is actually called Why Don't You Stop Talking? The title is more a note to myself than anything else. Makes all my family roar with laughter. Graduation ceremonies are special for all of us. They represent the culmination of your journey as a student, and they're bittersweet because you're saying goodbye to these times that you've absolutely loved and adored, and to the you that you've found in that process in these years, and you're saying hello to these uncertain years that you're following now. So they're bittersweet. They're a hello and a goodbye. It's a double day today, this graduation day. A ceremony is not a ceremony without giving thanks, and I'd like to thank very much the staff at the university, the academic staff who are all seated here on the stage, for helping you achieve your success today. Can I please give them all a great round of applause? Thank you. And I would like to say, add a personal note of thanks and congratulations to your families and friends who have supported and encouraged you throughout your studies and who have travelled, in some cases, huge distances to be with you today. This is a spectacularly proud day for them. Thank you, families. Thank you, friends. In fact, I think we should do even better than that. I think all the graduates should get on their feet and give a massive round of applause to thank anybody and everybody who's helped them achieve what they've got today. You can stand up too. Thank you. Let curiosity lead you in many fascinating directions to new discoveries. Let your care and social sense, your empathy and your excellence, your creative flair and wisdom, your openness to chance and possibilities take you far. Let the whole world welcome its new stars. Thank you.
I now invite Tony Walsh to be presented to the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
Chancellor, distinguished guests, Salford graduates, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Tony Walsh, poet and creative. I met with Tony in Manchester City Centre a few weeks ago, and it was immediately clear that the city, its history, politics and culture all form part of his DNA. In 2016, Tony Walsh was elected as Fellow of the Royal Society of Arts. 2 years on, Tony is known nationally and globally because of the words he spoke on the 23rd of May 2017. As Jeanette Winterson said of him, he found words where there are no words. Manchester had been witness to the act of unimaginable terror. The loss of lives was catastrophic. The Manchester bomb had changed everything for so many individuals, families and communities. One of those individuals was Tony. Thousands gathered in Albert Square for the vigil. Tony's pride, passion, defiance and absolute love of Manchester burst through his reading of This Is the Place, described by Liam Gallagher as the best I've heard come out of any Mancunion's mouth ever. That day, Tony unified the city and its people in a way that was utterly powerful, totally raw and truly honest. Tony Walsh was born into a working-class family with 3 siblings. His mum was English, his dad Irish. He was brought up in the 60s and 70s in Denton, Manchester. There was very little money in the household, and unemployment often surrounded him. Aged 3, Tony nearly died of rheumatic fever, the disease of poverty. Such was the northwest of England in those days. Aged 5, he started writing poetry, continuing to write until he was a teenager. Tony was an avid reader and a bright pupil, and whilst at primary school, one of Tony's teachers said to his mum, "This lad will get his cap and gown one day." Throughout sixth form college, Tony worked 5 nights a week in a supermarket to make ends meet. Looking back, Tony sees how this prevented him from pursuing his passion for music, reading, politics and writing. Age 17, Tony applied to university, unsure of what to study, journalism at a London university or a business degree on his home turf at the University of Salford. Possibly because he chose business over journalism, as well as for a myriad of other reasons, university did not then work out for Tony, and after 2 years he left. Despite this, he's never forgotten Salford and has always been extremely loyal to the university. After 5 years of working in factories and for the post office, Tony finally got a job in housing as a housing officer for Manchester City Council, based in Miles Platting, a place that, according to Tony, was as deprived and as troubled as it could get in the 90s. By 2003, Tony was married and had 2 children, and he began to write again. He loved it. Glastonbury called, poetry nights in Manchester happened, plus a trip to Warsaw with the British Council. Eventually, with the support of his wife and family, he left his secure, well-paid job to become a full-time poet. Over the last 7 years, he has worked with thousands of school children, refugees, asylum seekers, university students and writers' groups. And then, on the 22nd of May 2017, the horrors of the Manchester bomb unfolded. This is the place became the poem that galvanised a city, and the poem became the focus of so much. It changed Tony, and he is still processing much of what happened just over a year ago. Tony's narrative is far from over. He now has 3 challenging and exciting projects launching across the next few months, working with the Imperial War Museum, Opera North and the BBC. Tony goes from strength to strength, and I am delighted that he is with us today and that his family are here too, proudly watching him. With the words of his primary teacher ringing out loud and clear, "This lad will get his cap and gown one day." This is Tony. This is the poet. Chancellor, I present for the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, Tony Walsh.
Vested in me on behalf of this university, I can now confer you with the degree Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations, Tony Walsh.
This lad got his cap and gown. Chancellor, Deputy Lieutenant, graduates, guests, huge thank you for inviting me here today, for honouring me in this way. It means so much to me. Thank you. And it's such a pleasure to be here with the School of Arts and Media graduates. Am I in a room full of culture vultures? Would I be right? I think so. I appreciate it. I know it's hard to be a culture vulture and a counter-culture vulture culture, but if we counter the counter-culture culture, we can culture more culture vultures. All together now. It's hard to be... As a poet, I'm going to share a poem with you today, if I may, but just a few quick thank yous, if I may. Thank you, usually to Beth, for that introduction. You honour me greatly there. Thank you. I'm thinking of my mum today. My mum's not with us anymore. She was given a fortnight to live and lasted 10 years. Remarkable woman, Elaine. I'm thinking of my mum today. I have a ring with me. I have a photo with me. I'm thinking also of my dad, who's here, Frank, who cared for my mum courageously, tirelessly for many years. My dad was born in Ireland, in County Cavan, in a house, brought up in a house with no gas, no electric, no water, no toilet, no heating. Kids, can you imagine? No internet. And thank you, Dad, for all your support. I'm so glad you could be here today. My wife, Helen, is here. Thank you. My wife, Helen, is here today. We've been together since we were 19, and we met when I was at Salford. A certain amount of romancing happened at Castle Irwell, if you... oh, yes. So, Helen, huge thanks for all your love and support over the years. I couldn't do it without you. My son, Joseph, is here today. My daughter, Katie, isn't able to be here, but I love you guys, and I'm very proud of you. I'm thinking also of my brothers and sisters, Debbie, Tina and Michael. My sister, Tina, is here as well, and again, I'm very proud of them. We lost my wife's father, Stan, a few years ago. Stan was a coal miner. My wife's mum is a school cleaner, Mary, from a mining family. I'm thinking of them today, and Uncle Roy, a miner, who very much helped us. In accepting this award, humbly, I pay tribute to those who have achieved a doctorate for real. Massive achievement, and I congratulate you on that. I was particularly pleased to see the campaign a few weeks ago, #Immodest Women, encouraging women academics to own their qualifications and stand up and wear their doctorate badge with pride. And it humbles me to gain that honorary title today. I'd like to thank Rose and Dave and Clive who work with me behind the scene. They know they are, and I hope they're watching. As has been said, my thoughts today go back to the 22nd of May 2017. My thoughts are there today because they've been there every day since. I've met many of the families. I met two just yesterday. And I think this city can be very proud of the way we stood together with those people and their families and those who were injured, and the warmth and the love and the generosity and the creativity and the defiance of this city region's response to that. And if my contribution played a tiny part in that, and if today is in part in reflection of that, then that's overwhelming for me, humbling for me, and I thank you. But I do think our city can be very proud of its response. Can we have a cheer in solidarity with those people and in solidarity with those people, with their families, and in recognition and thanks for this city's amazing response. And what I delivered that day was a poem. We're here to honour arts and media graduates. The event that was bombed was a musical celebration. Whoops. What we honoured was the event that was bombed was a musical event. I'd like to deliver you a poem, if I may, called Arts and Minds. That is my battle hymn for the arts and culture scene in this country. I wrote it a few years ago when the cuts first started happening. I saw a tweet that the arts needs to speak with one voice. The arts needs to speak with a louder voice in the face of cuts and closures and the things that I see in my work, going to school libraries closing, music services winding down, public libraries closing, the loss of student grants and so on. So I deliver this, and my message to the graduates today is what you've studied, what you have is an amazing thing. Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge. And if we want to change the world, it needs to be imagination and creativity that will do that. And as we're hearing, the arts are an amazingly powerful tool for engaging people and, as I say, helping to change the world, bringing people together. So this is all from me. I wish you all the very best. You know, Manchester, we're in Salford here, but Manchester was a Roman city, and the Romans urged us all to leave the city better and more beautiful than we found it. And as arts graduates, you have every chance to do that. And I wish you all the very best. And I'll leave you with this poem called Arts and Minds. And may I say, it's a particular honour for me today to receive my award from such a distinguished poet as Jackie. Thank you. So the arts are a low priority, but it's the principal thing that defines us as human. Those moments, exponents can light up the room and it soundtracks our lives. It's the heart of our nation, bringing civilization to our civilization. It's the cultural pulse of these green, pleasant lands. It's the heartbeat you can't beat from Britain's best bands. It's the sounds that just pounds all around Britain's streets as our geeks and our freaks tweak this week's beeps and bleats. It's the tourists who flock to our national collections. It's tears in your eyes as you witness perfection. From prime time and mainstream for family sharing to courageous, outrageous and out there and daring. From relaxing, not taxing and safe and commercial to incendiary, extraordinary, brave, controversial. It's mashing up cultures and mixing up styles. It's dancing at dawn to a night on the tiles. It's opera and soap opera, ballet and pantos, dubstep concertos and thrash metal cantos. It's guitars and sitars and harps and harmonicas, gay disco, bebop, psych funkatronica. It's every subgenre of music conceivable. Oh, you missed it last night, man. It was unbelievable. It's skate punk and space funk and reggae got soul. It's bass pounding, ace sounding, great rock and roll. It's hip hop and punk rock and bitter street symphonies. And infamy, infamy. They've all got it in for me. It's box office blockbusters, the talk of the town, it's the smell of the popcorn, the lights going down. It's how movies can move us and never forget. How dance moves enhance moods, make souls pirouette. It's the special effects of those special effects. It's comedy, tragedy, drama and sex. It's bright lights and highlights. It's Saturday nights. It surrounds and confounds and astounds and delights. It's the miracle of magical musical spectaculars, hip operas written in modern vernacular. It's gazing, amazing, not seen that before. It's gobsmacked and goosebumps and gaping in awe. It's PG, it's 12, it's 15, 18. It rolls from our consoles and screams from our screens. It blazes from pages and pulses palladiums, rages from stages and staggers our stadiums. It's the roar of the grease paint, the smell of the crowd. It's the deafening silence, then crying out loud. It's the anticipation, the exhilaration, the edge of your seat, then a standing ovation. It's the light that it shines on the human condition. It's the priceless delights for the price of admission. It's genius between us in arenas and fields. It's prima ballerinas and the way that it feels when the act of an actor on stage in a play charts that part of your heart that you never display. It's Sugar Babe Shakespeare. It's Lock Up Your Chaucers. It's Dickens, Rich Pickings for sought-after authors. It's burlesque and batik and beatbox and bhangra and mosaic and mimicry, montage and manga. It's graphic design and the finest typography, visceral, mystical, phenomenal photography. It's how photos expose those who pose to the eyes, how the lens tends to cleanse and extends a surprise. It's political puppetry, feminist fiction, knitters with attitude, graphic depictions of horror and fantasy, sci-fi and splattercore, people who tell you that nothing can matter more than the hope and the glory last night of the proms, the choirs of fire, the poems like bombs, the rocking with laughter and packed to the rafters, the Oscars, the Costas, the Mobos and BAFTAs, the fire-breathing, fire-twirling, firework and flames at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. And we sing Cool Britannia because Britain is blessed. We're first class. We're world class. It's what we do best. When it comes to the arts, we are such a world leader. Small islands, big talents. We're overachievers. Creative industries, culture where business is booming. But cracks are appearing. And cutbacks are looming. So Britain's got talent of incredible breadth, bringing pleasure beyond measure to incredible depth. So remember that arts, yes, can generate millions, but enjoyment, employment can generate billions. And it's not just the artists. There's work for technicians, for brickies and chippies, for skilled electricians, designers, suppliers and jobs which are key, whether making decisions or making the tea. It all creates income. It generates wealth, which is spent and respent more than pays for itself. So art, just for art's sake, can take pride of place. But there's no business like a show business case. But it's not all just glamorous, famous and glamorous stars. It's the art that takes place in the schools and the bars, in the old people's homes, in community centres. It's tutors and teachers and workshops and mentors. And it's not just for capital cultural elites. It's for ordinary people from ordinary streets. It's the whole-filling, soul-thrilling joy that it brings when ordinary people do extraordinary things. So let's celebrate art in our local communities, wide-ranging, life-changing Brit opportunities, breeding cohesion and tackling sorrow. Beginners begin to be winners tomorrow. It widens horizons. It broadens our mind. It binds us together. It helps us unwind. It deals in diversity, eases anxiety, weaves ties that bind through the fabric of society. It's the honesty, dignity, beauty and truth of chronic arthritis who write of their youth. And I've heard say their wordplay when given a start is a javelin travelling straight to the heart. So the arts is a therapy, fighting ill health. It's the used and confused boy who's finding himself. It's that look in his eye for the very first time when a light switches on in the back of his mind. An artist can spark this in kids of all ages, help the shyest fly highest to triumph on stages, tell the shy kids to fly kids and soar to new heights. You've exponential potential, so reset your sights. Start growing, start showing you the best you can be. No ceilings, those feelings when your soul is set free. It's ducklings to swans. It's wallflowers flowering. It's a voice for the voiceless. It's enabling, empowering. It's bewitching, enriching. It can save people's lives. Help the lonely not only to grow but to thrive. It's rough lads with tough dads who just want to dance. And they'd give it their all if we give them a chance. And when nobody listens, The quiet girl sings. And that weight on her shoulders turns out to be wings. And we're never more human than when we create. Imagination, innovation is what makes us great. As Britons, as humans, it sets us apart. And so let's tell our heads what we know in our art. So let's fight for the arts and for what's being lost. And let's talk about value and not about costs. Because in every report, via every assessment, this isn't subsidy. This is investment. And it's time that the arts stood together to shout this. Witness the richness. We're poorer without this. The value is priceless. That's all that we're saying. And some things that cost come at prices worth paying. And when they tell us that's fine, but where else should have cuts? Let's reclaim the debate with no ifs and no buts. Because it's not about arts versus pensions or healthcare. It's not about arts versus schooling or welfare. But it is about choices. It's this simple choice. It is silence and lies versus truth given voice. So the question is not how to slice up austerity. The question is who has denied us prosperity. So don't fight over crumbs because there's too much at stake. Let's unite and let's fight those who've stolen the cake. Congratulations. Go forth and make great art. Change the world. A huge thank you to Salford University. Thank you. Thank you.
Graduands, ladies and gentlemen, we now commence the presentation of the Postgraduate Awards from the School of Arts and Media, and each student will be presented individually for their award. I would like to invite Professor Alan Walker, Dean of the School of Arts and Media, to present the PhD Awards.
Chancellor, on behalf of the School of Arts and Media, I present for the award of Doctor of Philosophy, Public Relations, Communications in Public Diplomacy, Libyan Institutions in Egypt and the UK, Khalid Abdallah. Developing unification in the teaching and learning of jazz and classical guitar, Diego Enrique Prato Montesinos. I present for the award of Master of Philosophy, Richa Yadav.
Graduands, ladies and gentlemen, we will now commence the presentation of the Postgraduate Taught Awards from the School of Arts and Media, with each student being presented individually for their award. And I would like to invite Janice Allen, Associate Dean of the School of Arts and Media, to present these awards.
Chancellor, on behalf of the School of Arts and Media, I present for the award of Master of Arts, Intelligence and Security Studies, Emma Enston. Paul Anthony Rice. I present for the award of Master of Arts, Interactive Music and Advanced Studio Production, Lewis Davison. Eric DeRoy. Michael Skeech. I I present for the award of Master of Arts, Media Production, Animation, Mohammed Sakeen. I present for the award of Master of Arts, Media Production, Children's TV Production, Jennifer Lisa Richards. I present for the award of Master of Arts, Media Production, Post-Production for TV, Hassan Nakfki. Lauren Romans. I present for the award of Master of Arts, Media Production, TV Documentary Production, Olubenga Afolabi. Colin McKevitt. I present for the award of Master of Arts, Media Production, TV Drama Production, Alexandra Patricia Nicol. I present for the award of Master of Arts, Music Composition, Daniel Paul Foster. Richard Alex Carey. Louis Leeson. James McEwen. Natalie Rudek. Edward Thomas. I present for the award of Master of Arts, Music Performance, Ryan Broad. Adam Galloway. Marianne Garbett. Marianne is also one of our amazing program administrators in the school. Rebecca Jane Summers. Jackie Wheatcroft. I present for the award of Master of Arts, Terrorism and Security, James Bell. Laxmikant Gina. Chris Horahan. Andrew Ince. I present for the award of Master of Arts, Wildlife Documentary Production, Richard Mefta.
I now invite David Moutry to be presented for the degree of Doctor of Arts, honoris causa.
Chancellor, distinguished guests, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to present for the award of Honorary Doctorate for services to culture and the arts, Dave Moutry, Director and Chief Executive of Home and Director of Culture for the City of Manchester. The University makes this award for those who have made a very particular contribution to their field and with a connection to the University. Born in Billingham, County Durham, Dave developed an early interest in art and studying, and was the first in his family to go to sixth form college and higher education. In 1976, he began his studies at Leeds Beckett University with the intention of becoming an art teacher. It was a heady time, with new radicalism sweeping through the UK, characterised by anti-establishment ideas, freedom of expression, and alternative ways of living. Dave was strongly influenced by the punk movement and those aspects which emphasised social and political engagement, and he was a volunteer in the Anti-Nazi League and Rock Against Racism. His passion for reggae and punk music drew him into the world of concerts, and he worked part-time as on-stage security at Leeds Polytechnic, an experience which informed his understanding of how to stage professional quality performance. During the summer of 1980, Dave worked on a summer camp in New Jersey, teaching photography and producing theatre, before returning to the UK to take up a sabbatical post with the Student Union. As he became more committed to social change, he focused on agit-prop, that highly politicised form of theatre exemplified through the plays of Bertolt Brecht. Once qualified as an art and drama teacher, Dave taught at South Chadderton School in Oldham and also established his own small-scale touring theatre company. For much of the 80s, he produced politically based shows, several of which toured working men's clubs and community venues in the northeast of England. He became expert at producing theatre on minimal budgets and at realising the power of theatre to shift thinking as well as to entertain. In 1990, Dave was appointed to lead Arts About Manchester, a cooperative arts marketing consortium which grew exponentially to become the highly successful audience agency. He also worked for 2 years as marketing director for City of Drama after helping to secure the title for Greater Manchester. Since then, Dave has occupied senior positions leading arts organisations. He spent 13 years as director of Corner House and led its highly successful redevelopment, which included playing a key role establishing the Cinema Arts Network in 2011, as well as being one of the founding directors of the Abandon Normal Devices Festival. In 2010, Dave jumped at the opportunity presented by Sir Howard Bernstein, former Chief Executive of Manchester City Council, to lead the Home Project, which involved the merger of Corner House with the Library Theatre Company as a catalyst for the regeneration of the First Street area of the city. Less than 5 years later, Dave and his talented team conceived and completed this project on time and to huge success. Home serves the cultural appetite of the audiences of Greater Manchester and works closely with higher education sector partnerships, a much admired aspect of his work. It is also through Home that Dave has become such a close friend to the University of Salford. He's led the film research and programming collaboration between Home and the university, providing a platform for our senior researchers. He has screened student films, hosted placements and art-based events, and new plans include an annual interactive commission for students. As a regular attendee at our graduation shows and the Create Awards, Dave acts as advisor, role model and partner as we grow the cultural contribution of Salford. In May this year, Dave was appointed Director of Culture for the City of Manchester, and his key aim is to widen the audience base for cultural production. With characteristic modesty, Dave is keen to acknowledge those people who have worked with him and also to broadcast the role of his greatest supporter of the past 33 years, his wife Lindsay, and also their 2 children, Anna and Robert, who, despite Dave and Lindsay's best efforts to dissuade them, both work in the arts. It is in light of his continued commitment to socially engaged art practice particularly focused on young people from disadvantaged and working class backgrounds, and his support for the next generation of cultural producers, that we are delighted to welcome Dave to recognise his achievements. His cultural impact on arts and culture in the region and beyond is outstanding. So it is with great pleasure that I'd like to welcome Dave and invite him to come forward. Chancellor, I present for the degree of Doctor of Arts honoris causa, Dave Moutry.
Congratulations. I can now confer upon you, Dave Moutry, the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, by virtue of the authority invested in me on behalf of the University of Salford. Many congratulations. Well done. I'm so happy. I need a little stool to stand on.
Sorry, Chancellor, I forgot to doff my cap. Chancellor, Deputy Lord Lieutenant, distinguished guests, Salford graduates, ladies and gentlemen, and hey, yes. I have to say that it's actually really quite intimidating speaking on the same platform as a couple of fantastic poets. So if you need to sort of zone out for a few minutes, now's the time. And thank you, Professor Walker, Alan, for that really generous oration. All of my thank yous are in the speech, so I'll crack on. The brief for this speech was to talk about my journey, and I was reminded of a speech I made a couple of years ago at a conference at the South Bank Centre in London about arts and education that still feels so very relevant now. You'll detect a theme perhaps between Tony and myself. So it feels okay to reiterate now what I was saying then. I am very lucky to be leading home and to be entrusted with such an important civic and cultural asset. My mother Jean worked in a shop for all her working life, and my dad Jack drove trucks, tankers to be precise. I'm very proud of them both. They left school at 15 and worked hard all of their lives to make sure they did their best for their kids, like many of you have done. Thanks to Ancestry.com, my wife Lindsay has done some family history research, and we know that my family worked on the railways, in the shipyards and on the River Tyne for generations, and a number of them were even in the workhouse. In contrast to that history, perhaps like many of you, I was the first person in my family to go to sixth form and to get a degree. My future as someone who attended a secondary modern school in the early 70s should have been on the railways, in the shipyards, on the river, but probably not the workhouse. There's nothing wrong with that as a career path at all. All very respectable professions. Apart from, if I'd been born a generation earlier, I would have had no choice. That's where I would have worked. That's what I would have done. So, how did a spotty-faced teenager in a hand-knitted jumper become to be an art and drama teacher and end up running what is one of the largest art centres outside of London? It happened because I was the product of a liberal education system with a strong core in arts and a commitment to teachers that enabled a working-class lad like me from a family with no tradition of education to have a choice. Teachers opened my mind and my eyes. Teachers who encouraged me to make choices and think differently. I had a choice because Miss Callender at Bewley Junior School got me reading for fun, but was also the most amazing art teacher. I had a choice because Miss Johnson, our music teacher at Davy Hall Secondary School, got me to learn the rhythm of life from Sweet Charity, which I can still sing today, but you wouldn't want me to, and encouraged me to play an instrument. I had a choice because Mrs. Natras of Furness Comprehensive School introduced me to Alan Paton, Doris Lessing, the war poet, and most importantly, Shakespeare. I had a choice because Mr Sutherland, also at Furness Comprehensive School, encouraged me to stay in the art room after the school day to draw and to paint and to make things. I had a choice because Mr Shingleton at Bede Sixth Form College took me on a day trip to London, or a weekend trip to London, to visit the Tate and introduced me to Rothgo, a life-changing experience, and Degar and the Rocky Horror Show. I had a choice because John Mee at Leeds Polytechnic told me that I didn't need permission to make theatre. I just needed an idea and the drive to work with people and make things happen. I owe so much to those teachers. I could have mentioned some fantastic science, maths, history and even geography teachers who gave me choices, but they're not an endangered species. The state of arts education in our schools is increasingly a concern and doesn't bode well for the future of our nation. All of our young people deserve the chance to have a choice. Many of you are starting careers in the creative and cultural and digital sector, which is the second fastest growing industry in Greater Manchester after business and financial services. With 8.4% predicted growth between now and 2025, there are viable careers in these businesses. Technical professional skills are identified as a gap in UK theatre and creative and cultural skills. Sir Peter Bazalgette's review of the creative industries stated, "Key to UK's future success is the blending of technical and creative skills." The Warwick Commission and Kaluskil Benkin Foundation and similar research studies, however, have identified a narrowing demographic of those involved in the arts. The skills gap and the gap in cultural democracy is as big as ever. This is why this university and others like it who are investing in the next generation of creative talent, no matter what their background, are so important. And I applaud the University of Salford for inclusivity and investment in the arts, and I'm flattered and very, very proud to be associated with it. To conclude, as many of you head out into careers in the arts and wider cultural industries, I would like to ask you not only to make great work, but also to think about the next generation that will follow you. Help them to have a choice too. Thank you to the University of Salford for their support of home and bestowing such a great honour on me, which in truth is recognition as much for the great team that I work with and the huge support I get from my wife Lindsay and my family as it is for me. Great teams are everything. We need artists more than ever. Enjoy your graduation day, go and make a difference, speak truth to power and change the world. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now commence the presentation of the Undergraduate Awards from the School of Arts and Media. Each student will be presented individually for their award. I would like to invite Tim France, Director in the School of Arts and Media, to present the awards.
Thank you. Chancellor, on behalf of the School of Arts and Media, I present for the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Contemporary History and Politics, Sian Alexandra Flint. Daniel Harris. Jan Karatash. Cameron Mackey. Christine Marie Outhwaite. Shannon Purchase. Ashley Watson. Hannah Watson. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Contemporary Military and International History, Elizabeth Bridge. Liam Casey. Matthew Cotterill. Ellie Crossley. Daniel Crotty. Nicholas Downs. David Fear. John Fox. Alexander James Hobbs. Kyle Knight. James Robert Lees. Freya Adam Parry Graham. Heather Pinnell. Christopher Sargent. Andrew Springers. Gareth Staples Jones. Callum Wardle. James Paul Watson. I would now like to welcome Dr. Dan Lomas to present the next award.
Chancellor, on behalf of the School of Arts and Media, I present the award of Certificate of Higher Education, Contemporary Military and International History, awarded posthumously to Captain Christopher Butcher. To everyone who he met, Chris, aka Butch, to his mates, was a remarkable student, a valued member of the PCH family, and a cherished friend to staff and students alike, many of whom walked across this stage just before. Chris achieved so much despite the challenges that he often faced and displayed the grit and determination that we expect to see in many of our graduating students today. His loss has been felt deeply by friends and lecturers inside PCH, and he was and certainly remains an inspiration to everyone who he met. It's a real honour then to invite Chris's wife, Laura, up to the stage to collect his award.
Bachelor of Arts with Honours Dance, Courtney Jade Clark. Kelsey Lee Cunliffe. Lucy Ann Davies. Sally Innes Mackenzie Hendry. Callum Newman. Angie Sandy Megan Nagoma. Ellie Sutcliffe. Jessica Ward. Bachelor of Arts with Honours International Politics and Security, Joel John Luke Prendergast. Morgan Russell. John Steen. Jack Henry Wozniak. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, International Relations and Politics, Hafsa Mahmood Ali. Gadir Almuwail. Doshima Burbau. Hannah Jane Lovell. Mohammed Ahmed Nawaz. Ben Reeves. Mihaela Ivalova Sletsvazlavova. Sami Yahieri. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Journalism and English, Anna Louise Broadbent. Georgia Kirk. Eva Lee. Pollyanna Riggs. Aisha Samia. Matthew James Smith. Amy Marie Cully Steele. Connor Gary Tomlinson. Eliana Zanga. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Journalism Broadcast, John Adcock. Dennis Adrian Andre. Samuel Ard. Nicola Bartosheva. Adam Barth. Isaac Beach. Caitlin Blackwell. Alicia Bukersi. Lucy Ann Bradley. Joe Canavan. Alicia Zara Connolly. Francesca Eagleton. Adam Elland. Dana Espinozo. Jessica Rose Fox. Amber Lily Golden. Connor Griffiths. Anna Marie Aliscu. Zachary Kilroy Silk. Claire Louise King. Megan Lee. Anna Magdalena Lubovitska. Mark Luther Thomas. Adam Patrick McManus. Scarlett Meredith. Jamal Niaz. Tara O'Connell. Hope Richmond Pickup. Gabriella Pimperiva. Hope Primus. James Prophet. Paul Jack Robinson. Samantha Victoria Rook. Erin Nice Rutherford, Chase Simon, Jennifer Smith, Lauren Smith, Sophie Spicknell, Jessica Tidswell, Paige Bethany Tucker, Sasha Walker, Tara Weaver, Abigail White, Alexander Joseph Worthing, Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Journalism, Multimedia, Pantelimon Anastopoulos, Katura Lotus Barrows Robotham, David Clark, Alex Costello, Joseph James Crabtree, Jessica Dobbs, Ruby Flanagan, Emily Hazel Fogg, Rachel Jane Foy, Beth Gardner, Megan Emily Green, Anna Greenwood, Rebecca Greenwood, Bethany Harms, Ellie Olivia Heaps, Ashley Howson, George Edward Hutchinson, Emily Ellen Ingram, Mahila Georgiana Iskru, Mary Jacobson Hunt, Phoebe Violent Joblin, Annie Fionn Corn Morris, Ioanna Kyriakou, Alexandros Lugavados, Elliot Lancaster, Ingrid Beatrice Lisman, Natalie Lord, Talisha Marie Marsh, Hayley Neville, Nicole Newton, Kate Noble, Leanne Owen, Natalie Angela Rees, Misha Lily Robinson, Morgan Fernley Robinson, Neve Elizabeth Shackleton, Liam Scott Shaw, William James Stevenson, James Tichborne, Howard Vigey, Rebecca Waldron, Olivia Walsh, Ellen Ward, Daniel Willis, Lauren Wolanski-Bones, Jessica Woodhouse, Benjamin Yates. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Creative Music Technology, Samuel John Philip Auckland. Georgie Kakapucci, William Davies, Kai Griffiths-Shilton, Thomas Jukes, Emmanuel Katsanakis, Vadims Komarovs, Calvin Lance, Ingrid Moran, Joe McIntosh, Jacob Miles, Lewis Olson, Samuel Edward MacDonald Osborne, Liam Power, Sebastian David Rowley, Callie Statham, Isaac Walbrook, Alexander Webster, Affidavit J. Williams. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Musical Arts, Antonis Antoniou. Stephen Andrew Bucknell. Thomas Edgley. Bryony Jane Marie George. Jessica Jones. Nathan Kempton. Emily Michelle Kennedy. Barry John Knight. Lefteris Lividiotis. James Lowe. Janie Matley. Zoe Moores. Daniel Moran. Daniel Sargent. Kelsey Jane Steed Sheridan. Samuel Benjamin Thompson. Charlotte Wilton. Robert Yates. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Popular Music and Recording, Harvey Abbott. Oluwatosin Bankole. Joe Anthony Kavanagh Briley. Samuel William Bullock. Joel Francis Burford. Sean Clavering. David Crawley. Elise Derbyshire. Bethany Dronsfield. Liam Joseph Duffy, Dominic Eaton, Klaus David Galvez-Callies, Adam Patrick Gibbons, George Grundy, Philip Hall, Adam James Hargreaves, Anthony Andrew Hickey, Rebecca Humphreys, Tommy Blake Isherwood, Nathan Edward Jackson, Nefeli Kuru, Indre Marute, Aidan Paul Morris, Molly Mottram, Nicholas Robert Murphy, Richard Newton, Anna Naguera, Georgie Hugh Norburn, Thomas O'Donnell, Matthew Alexander Peacock, Alexander Peake, Dylan Radcliffe, Luke Seth, Mary Shanker, Ellen Sides, Katie Louise Spencer, Thomas Statham, Darryl Taylor, Ben Tomlinson, Nathan Williams, Joseph Nicholas Wolfe, Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Politics, Peter Edward Collinson. Naomi Ann Jesse. Evelyn Basola Oluwayomi. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Television and Radio, Francis Louise Adams. Connor Jack Alderson. Hina Ali. Katie Louise Arathun. Logan Armstrong. Sally Olivia Ashton. Samuel Atkinson. Lauren Austin. Chloe Louise Beanland. Rhiannon Bennett. Ellie Margaret Birkinshaw. Jessica Louise Blackmore. Rosie Boyer. Kirsty Bradley. Rebecca Braybrook. Penelope Jane Brown. Shannon Bulmer. Libby Allison Bushell. Ward Butt. Isabel Campbell. Aaron Candlin. Luke Niall Carville, Mandy Corntz, Shaquille Isaac Chambers, Oliver Paul Chaplin, Amy Louise Chidlow, Donald Stephen Chown Everett, Lucy Clark, Mia Danielle Clayforth, Alexander Clinton, Jordan Cobain, Shania Cole, Molly Corish, Oliver Crosland, Jay Crotty, Joshua Davies, Samuel Davis, Jonathan Mark Dean, Joseph Dobson, Ruth Erica Dolling, Katie Ellis, Bethany Delitha Evans, Jacob Nathan Edward Fernley, Andrew James Featherstone, Hannah Fillingham, Samuel Neil Fitzpatrick, Harrison Fletcher, Takunda Paul Gambunu Marangwa, Ellen Rachel Gibson, Jack Gledo, Matthew Graham, Sophie Graham, Laura Beth Greenwood, Martin Griffiths, Daniel David James Grunshaw, Katie Hall, Caris Louise Hallam, Kieran J. Hammond, Jack Handley, Kerry Hatfield, Samuel Hawkley, Ashley Haycock, Sophia Hesley, Molly Henderson, Megan Henson, Megan Hodgson, Megan Hornsby, Daniel Howarth, Faith Howley, Billy John Isles, Abubakar Jelani, Zach Michael Johnson, Daniel Jones, Liam Keane, Kelsey Louise Eva Keithley, Liam Kennedy, Molly Jade Keyworth, Rebecca Sidney King, Michaela Kulikova, Alistair Lambert, Ellie Lightowler, Joseph Lindley, Simon John Little, Mitchell Loftus, Teeden London, Tony Lunn, Conor McAllister, Dion McComish, Amy McCulloch, Riona Grace McCumsky, Francis McGovern, Alicia McGowan, John Michael McGowan, Leon James Mackenzie, Jack McKnight, Liam Gary Meller, Saxon Miller, Amy Marie Mills, Beth Moore, Cherish Marie Morin, Tanaka Mutanga, Eleanor Francis Mycock, Dylan Neville, Thomas Ormrod, Sarah Owen, Eleanor Palmer, Robin Parker, Emily Kate Pilkington, Emily Louise Potter, Luke Michael Pritchard, Nicholas Daniel Ransom, Yasmin Reed, Theo Reed, Laura Rose Reeves, Adam John Roberts, James Roebuck, Emma Louise Roxburgh, Jack Reinhardt, Molly Sales, Josh Schofield, Francesca Scottrick Boyd, Alice Violet Shaw, Laura Grace Shenton, Shannon Joy Smiley, Elliot Smith, Joseph Smith, Oliver Smith, Christopher Solomon, Katarina Stanitska, Anne-Marie Stothard, Rachel Stewart, Jack Thompson, Ben Thornton, Abigail Turvey, Leon Cameron Valente, Jade Walton, Sam Webster, Adam Whitaker, Nicole Williams, Bronwyn Wilson, Kirsty Wood, William Ray Lang, Bachelor of Science with Honours, Media Technology, Anas Al-Fakuri, Tabeen Ali, Alex Martin Butler, Marcus Anthony Campbell, Robert Cannon, Matthew Thomas Dickinson, Robert David James Hepworth, Philip Roberts, Bachelor of Science with Honours, Media Technology, Operational Engineering and System Design, Kathleen Marie Ruane, Bachelor of Science with Honours, Professional Broadcast Techniques, Grace Carty, Mark Chapman, Sophie Chilton, Freya McGreevy, Joseph Walsh, Bachelor of Arts, Television and Radio, Robert Edeshui Isaac, Nathan McCarney, Foundation Degree Arts, Creative Music, Omar Chambers, Christopher Morris, Foundation Degree Arts, Media Production, Olivia Marie Fern, Alexandra Fitton, Shola McCarthy, Jamila Moylan, Khadija Shazad, Elizabeth Ann Spencer, Higher National Diploma, Media Production, Laura Hayward, Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Music, Popular Music and Recording, Jordan Kalonji. Intelligence and Security Studies, James Wright.
Graduates. I'm the first person in this ceremony who's been able to call you such. Graduates, ladies and gentlemen, that almost concludes the presentation of this ceremony. But before I ask the Chancellor to close the ceremony, I would like to inform you that we will be taking a group photograph of all of you, our new graduates, outside the theatre on the piazza. Therefore, can I ask all guests to remain in their seats until all the graduates have left the theatre. Graduates, can I please ask you to follow the academic procession straight out of the theatre and onto the piazza for the photograph to be taken. Thank you. I would now like to invite the Chancellor to close the ceremony.
Thank you. It's all go, isn't it? It's all go. It's been an extraordinary experience, shaking hands and looking into the eyes of each and every one of you as you got your degrees, and watching all the different ways that people cross a stage, and all the different ways that people have of shaking a hand. If I was to go on the bus later on and say to a stranger in the bus, I shook 340 hands today, and they all shook them differently, they'd think I was probably a little bit mad. If they didn't know that I was the Chancellor. But it's really an astonishing thing. You get a real sense of the diversity and of human life, don't you, in these graduation ceremonies. You get a real sense of all of our lives and all of our different complexities, and it really is a huge privilege and honour to have been part of this ceremony today, to have been part of awarding the honorary degrees to Tony Walsh. And to Dave Moutry. It's been a very moving ceremony in so many different ways, and I thank you all for your participation and your patience and your kindness, and for staying with us for the whole thing. It's been really extraordinary. These ceremonies are just astonishing, and we just get a sense of everybody's journey that they've made. You've made a fantastic journey getting here today and achieving this extraordinary award. So I'd like to congratulate you, graduates, on receiving your award. A massive congratulations on behalf of me, your Chancellor. I'd like you to stand up now and congratulate each other with a massive round of applause. You can sit down again, because I'm going to get you standing up in a minute. This is like, this is like a childhood game that we can play. Stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. It's quite a childhood game. I was at an extraordinary ceremony the other day in Glasgow where Annie Lennox, the pop star, was made Chancellor of Glasgow Caledonian University, and I had to read her a special poem that I'd written for the occasion, and that was an amazing thing. But at that ceremony, my Chancellor's robes were sent up ahead to Glasgow. I didn't know I had travelling robes until then, but my travelling robes went ahead of me and they arrived, and so did the hat. And at that ceremony, there was another Chancellor from Heriot-Watt University in Edinburgh, David Eustace. And it turned out that both of us had been babies in the same month and the same year in Elsie Ingalls Hospital. We were both born in the same hospital, and we were both given up for adoption. And it seemed amazing to me that there we were, stood there as Chancellors at that ceremony in Glasgow, and we'd been in the hospital in the same month and the same time. I hadn't known that Elsie Ingalls Hospital in Edinburgh was known for the babies from that hospital often went on to being adopted. But there we were in kind of grown-up baby gowns. Which, what else could you call a Chancellor's robe but a grown-up baby gown? And it seemed an extraordinary thing that we have these journeys, don't we? We all have these journeys. So I'm wishing you, we don't know what the future holds, but I'm wishing you, all the graduates today, an extraordinary journey. I'm hoping that life surprises you in unexpected ways, as it certainly has surprised me. I hope that you're greeted with great kindness on your path through life, because it's the most that we can ask for, really, is kindness and love in our relationships, and a way of reaching somehow our full potential, and of meeting people that help us reach that full potential. I'm not going to go on and on, because you have been at a long ceremony and you're probably gasping for a drink. I could go on and on, because who would actually be able to stop me? I mean, we could have a graduation lockdown here. And people could I often think that at poetry readings, you know, when a poet reads another poem, I think, God, this is a poetry lockdown. Graduation sleepover. But no, I won't go on and on. I promise I'll be finishing very shortly. But before I do finish, I'd just like to say a couple more really important thank yous. I would like to thank very much the University Department, headed by Joanne Caldwell, that organises these ceremonies. It's a massive amount of work that goes into them, so thank you to Joanne and her team for doing this. I would like to thank the staff at the Lowry that you see everywhere in red, who every year make us feel so very welcome, and are fantastically friendly and wonderful. If you see them in red, give them a wee thank you yourselves as you go out. Thank you to the staff at Lowry. And last but not least, I would like to thank our marvellous band that you see up here at the back, that every year provide us with the wonderful music that gets us started. Makes us want to do the funky Salford dance. And when we go out to do the photograph, I'll just tell you a little cautionary tale. The first year that I was Chancellor here, this is my third year as Chancellor, but the first year we did this photograph and everyone was asked to throw their hats, and I took off my hat in the spirit of, you know, democracy and my students, and somebody threw their hat rather enthusiastically and it felled me to the ground. Actually knocked me unconscious for a few minutes. You can watch it in slow motion on video. It's quite a funny thing to watch. And I thought, what a silly death that would have been, you know. Can you imagine a mortal wound by a mortar board? So I will be keeping my hat very firmly on when we go for this group photograph. Anyway, I'd like to thank all of you very much for coming. You are now graduates of the University of Salford. Woohoo! Now, graduates, can I please ask you to stand and please put on your hats?